All right, welcome everyone. Today we're going to be talking about the 6 simple C's to closing social media clients. And I was mentioning this to the people who were a little bit early, but I want to say it for everyone is if you're in the mode of selling websites, do not switch gears and start selling social media. But however, if you have an appointment with the potential client or you're meeting with someone, these techniques are going to help you a ton, and how we ended up selling a lot of social media to businesses. So it's supplemental, but stay focused. Don't switch from thing to thing to things. Remember, laser focus is your ally when it comes to growing your agency. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So this training is for you if you're currently selling social media, you want to grow your client base. If you aren't selling social media, but you'd like to add it as a service to increase your business, or you're just starting out and you want a better way of getting your foot inside the door with business owners. And we're going to cover all of those things. So let's just go over a few reasons of why social media is such a great thing to sell. These are just some social media stats. 48% of young people get their news on Facebook, which for better or for worse, it's the reality. So they're getting information, they're getting news. 250 million people are interacting with Facebook per month outside of the site, so in different ways outside of Facebook. 93% of internet users in the U.S. are in Facebook. That's huge. It's almost everyone. Pretty much everyone's on Facebook. If you're not, you're in the minority. 1 out of 8 minutes that people spend online is actually on Facebook. 48% of people ages 18 to 34 check Facebook when they first wake up. It's the first thing they do. Is they reach over to their phone and look at Facebook. 28% of 18 to 34-year-olds check their Facebook before getting out of bed. Over 30% of user base is over 35. So it's not just young people. There's 18 to 24 is the core segment, although that's changing. 74% growth of that core segment, and 98% of 18 to 24-year-olds are accessing social media accounts monthly. So that's pretty much everybody. Here's some information for businesses. Customers are more likely to recommend a brand that they're a fan of on Facebook. B2B marketers spend nearly over $1 million. I'm sure it's more now. This is a slightly older stat. 34% of marketers who generated leads using Twitter. Marketers that say Facebook is critical and important to their business, that's 33%. So, there's a ton of reasons why Facebook and social media is not going anywhere. But the bottom line for a lot of businesses is that, ultimately this is what matters. Businesses are on social media. Facebook is creating pages for businesses on social media, just like Google did with Google Places. Most businesses know that they need to do something with social media, whether they have or haven't, or whether they did and then stopped. It's great for you because it's a recurring monthly income, and that's what we try to emphasize, recurring monthly income for our business. That's what we push. It's not performance-based unless it's Facebook ads, which we will talk about at a later date. We're mostly just talking about Facebook management today. It does have a high perceived value. So a lot of people tend to be shy about the value that social media brings people and businesses. But if you target the right businesses, you can charge thousands of dollars to manage people's social media. So that's absolutely not unheard of. Even on the low end, and my brother works in the music business, and on the low end, he would expect a no-name band to pay $500 to do their social media for them. So that's a no-name band. They don't have any. They don't really have any. A lot of those no-name bands don't have any income coming in. They don't have a business really that they really worked out. They're not making a lot of money, but these low-end bands will pay $500 a month. So, sometimes you might feel shy about charging that much to a business that, is a, a small type business, but you really shouldn't. You really should charge a lot more than people do, a lot more than marketers think that you need to charge. $500 is the low end when you're charging that. It's also a great foot in the door where you can sell other services. So again, bottom line for you guys is it's generally easier to sell than a lot of other services, and it's in demand. People want it, they know they need it. And so from the business perspective, again, they know about social media, they've heard that it's helped at the very least. They've heard that it's helped. They see the work getting done. So this is an advantage because unlike SEO, they actually see stuff happening. Every day they can go to their account and they can see people posting things, people liking things, people commenting on things, and I'm not really involved in the day-to-day work that gets done there, but I would have clients come up to me all the time saying, "Oh, I loved what you posted for me the other day on Facebook or on social media, and I thought it was so me, or it just was really right, and I loved it." So I have no idea in general what's going up on their pages personally, because I'm not involved. We do have checks and balances. Everything that we do for social media goes through a writer, an editor, and a quality control. So we do have checks and balances, and I put those in place basically so I don't have to be involved in it. And here's the key one for me is most business owners don't want to log into social media themselves. You won't believe how many business owners I've talked to throughout the years that have blatantly just told me, "I don't even have a Facebook or a Twitter," or some of them, a lot of them didn't even have LinkedIn accounts. So you'll be surprised to find how many people aren't on social media, don't want to be on social media, and that's really your best target to go after. And they've heard about it. It's not an obscure tactic. It's not an obscure marketing trick. It's not this new way of doing something. And again, I want to just emphasize and re-emphasize the fact that you want to sell things that businesses understand. Now, they may not fully understand social media like they do websites, but they've heard about it and they know about it, and a lot of them aren't doing it. So here's some things why I love selling social media. Again, I've said some of these, but businesses have heard that at the very least they've heard that it's helpful. A lot of them have tried, but they failed to keep it up or failed to do it and then just stopped. Most of them don't know how to do it, and again, my favorite is that most of them don't want to do it themselves. They don't want to be responsible for doing that. Business owners have too many things on their plate already to think about, "Oh, what am I going to post on my Facebook page today?" So here's some of the benefits for agency automation members. You have a very low cost of fulfillment, as low as $98.50. With that, you don't have to do any of the work. It's again a great lead offer. There's very little hassle in doing social media, and that's one of the reasons why I love it. We set up the accounts. We do the research for the post. We write the post. We design them. We post the content, and generally everything we do is custom for that business. So at $98.50, you're really not going to be able to find a better price than that, even outside of agency automation. So here's the sales process of actually getting clients for social media. So we're going to get into the meat of the presentation now. Here it is on a very basic level. We're going to give away social presence portfolios. Then from there, we're going to get an audit meeting, and then we're going to let the system sell for you. So super simple. I'm going to go through these six different, the 6 C's to closing social media clients. So break it down a little bit more, but this is basically it. Social presence portfolio, audit meeting, and let the process sell for you. All right, so the first C is to create a list. The C's that I'm going to tell you are very simple, but if they're done consistently, then you're going to get clients. If they're done consistently, you're going to get clients. If you don't ever do them and don't do anything, you will not get clients. But if you do these consistently, you don't necessarily have to do this. You can get other people to do all of these things. And we're going to talk more about that at the end. But you don't have to do these things, but they need to be done consistently in order to have a good process and to constantly be bringing in new clients. Now, create a list. That can be done easily with, there's a ton of lead softwares out there. There's Lead Kahuna, there's Lead Rocket, there's all sorts of stuff that you can use to find businesses and look at their social media, look at their pages, and be able to analyze them pretty quickly. You can also just create your own list. Just write down local businesses that you know and that you do business with. So that's the first step. It's simple. It's not complicated. This is not rocket science. This is one of the issues that I have with a lot of the gurus out there. Is they want to make things super complicated. This is simple, but done consistently, it will grow your business one client at a time. And those one clients at a time, 2 or 3 clients a week start to add up really fast. So even though this is simple, don't discount it. Okay, so first thing, just create a list. Simple, right? Filter the list, so cut the list. This is C number 2. So filter the list by the businesses with inactive social presences. So they're not doing anything. They're not posting. They haven't posted in a month or 2 weeks. They look like they were posting before and now they're not posting. Or, even if they're active, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're a horrible prospect. And sometimes they're doing it, but they don't want to do it. And those are great clients to get as well. So once you've built your list, you're going to choose 30 businesses from that list. So you want, if you've got software, that's easy. You put in the name of your city, you put in the industry that you want to find, and you tell it to go. You filter that list. A lot of the softwares will let you filter the list through so you can get just 30 businesses. You can also choose businesses based on businesses that you like, businesses that you go to, that you do business with, businesses that your friends do business with, so recommendations from your friends, or businesses that are some way related to your network, so people that you know at church, people that you know at Kiwanis Club, or through a networking group like BNI or a Chamber of Commerce or whatever it is. Those related businesses are great ones to approach because you have some connection with them. But the main one, the ones that you're going to want to focus on are the ones that need help. The ones that need help, especially if it looks like they've tried to do something and they haven't done anything in a long time. Okay. Step number 4. All right. So again, these steps are super easy, super simple. You're going to create social presence portfolios for these 30 businesses. Create social presence portfolios. And I made those available to everyone, but let's just go over them real quick. So what is a social presence portfolio? Here's a demo, a template of one. Right here where you see the logo where it says Star of India, you'll replace that with the business logo. find it on their website. Usually you can right-click on a logo and click Save As and to download it. If you can't do that, you can also put in the business name and city and search it in images, and often you'll be able to find their logo in Google Images that you can grab much easier if you can't grab it from their website. So you put in your name, you put in your number, you put in your email, and you can just do a find and replace and put that in there. And you'll go through this whole document and just switch it out. So when you see their Facebook page, you'll replace that with their actual Facebook page. And then you'll just comment. You'll just say, okay, hey, look, you've got a custom URL. That's great. You've got some branding. Okay, it could be better, but that's not bad. Here's how many likes you have. Here's, you haven't really posted in a while. It's been a few weeks. You've got good reviews, so that's good. So point out both the positive things and the negative things, and that's really important, because if you point out both, you have more credibility. If you're just there pointing out the negative things, you lose your credibility. They think, well, yeah, but I've got other good things going on. And so if you recognize both, your credibility is much higher. And so when you go to actually get the client, they're going to believe what you say. If you're just pointing out the negative, they know you're just trying to sell to them. So, and in some ways they know you're trying to sell to them, but it's not as blatant and it's not as in your face. So same thing with their Google place, their Google page, their Twitter page, and all of those things. Go through them each, make short, simple comments on them, and point out the positive and the negative, and move on. You can also point out things like there's no consistent graphics across all the different locations. So that the graphics could be stronger or more powerful. So there's lots of things you can pull out. It's easy. Just look at it and say, hey, here's what's good. Here's what could be better. Here, this is a great one here where they have 129,000 views. That's a great thing to point out. That's awesome, but what are they doing? They're not posting. They're not putting up videos. They're not taking advantage of the people that are actually landing on this page and viewing this page. They're not really doing anything to try to capture them. So there's missed opportunities there. And then the social presence portfolio goes through a bunch of different things, and you'll all have that sample of it, but it goes through a bunch of different things, and you'll be able to, but the powerful thing is that it ends with a strong call to action. It gives them a checkbox. You can put whatever additional services you might want to offer under this checkbox. So there's extra space there, so you can add what you feel like you want to add, or take away things that you feel like you want to take away. So you can go through there and edit it how you want to, but it's got a strong call to action at the end, telling them that we can help with this. We can help you take control of your social presence, and help you to be able to capture all this traffic and all of this interaction that's happening in social media. That's the social presence portfolio, and at this point you're just creating them. You're not worrying about selling them. We're going to talk about selling in a bit. But the next step, the next C, is contact. And so I will answer some questions at the end, just so you guys know. We'll get into questions. But I just want to focus on the presentation for now. But the next step is contact. So this is going to scare some of you, but I'm going to have a solution for you at the end of the presentation, which is the best way to sell with these social presence portfolios is to walk into the business. I know that can be scary, but it's the best way to sell with social presence portfolios. So that's one reason why it's really great if you know a business, if you already go to that business, if you already use that business, you're doing an audit for them and saying, hey, this is something we do. I just had one of my staff do an audit for you. So I just wanted to show it to you and go over it with you. So this is great. This is great for in-person stuff. So if you're part of a B&I group or a chamber of commerce where you regularly meet with people and get to know people, this is a great tactic using these social presence portfolios. If you already have a customer base, again, it is an easy in with people to be able to just make a meeting, sit down with them, show them their social presence, and analyze it with them. And the beauty of the social presence portfolio is that it's not a hard sell. You are just presenting the information and letting the document sell it for you. So it's not a hard sell. You're letting them sell themselves and the document sell them. So when you contact people, you can contact, I just mentioned some of these, but you can contact businesses that you already do business with. You can cold walk in to businesses. You can ask friends for a referral, or you can combine the techniques we're going to talk about today in the social presence portfolio with other sales that you're already doing. If you already have appointments to sell a website or to sell SEO or PPC or whatever it is you do, reputation, you can add this to your presentation and say, look, I also prepared this for you. Let's take a few minutes just to go through it and look at it. So my very first sell in social media was done with a social presence portfolio, and I was actually going to sell a website. So I went to sell the website and said, hey, look, we can also do this for you and do a social presence that help you with your social media. So it's great combining it with other things. All right, so when you do go in, and in order to get contact, obviously you need to talk to the business owner, and here is what you can say. Again, I have an alternative for everyone who doesn't feel comfortable doing this themselves, but that will come at the end. And here's what you say to the gatekeepers. So I have something to hand the business owner. Is he here now? So generally, I'll walk in, I'll put the social presence portfolio in an envelope. Sometimes I'll put it into a FedEx envelope, so it looks like I was going to send it, but I stopped in, or an overnight envelope from the post office. So I'll put it in there, and so it looks very official. So I have something to hand to the business owner. Is he here now? You're trying to get to the business owner as quickly as possible. If the business owner is not there, you can say, well, where can I find him? And so you're trying to find this business owner. So it seems really urgent. And so often the gatekeepers will say, oh, okay, well, let me get them. Or, they'll be back at this point. Or can I, and often they'll also ask, well, what is this about? And when they say that, I just repeat the first thing. I have something to hand that I have to hand to the business owner. When would be a good time to find them, or where can I find them? So that's the way. The ideal with gatekeepers is to do your best to push right through them. Like I'm sorry, I wish I could work. I could work with you, but I have to talk to the business owner. So push right through. I have something to hand the business owner. Is he here now? Simple. It's not complicated. I mean, you could learn this phrase. With 5 minutes of practice, you've got the phrase down. I have something to hand the business owner. Is he here now? Where can I find him? Oh, well, can I ask what it's about? I have something I have to hand to them personally. Are they here? Okay. And if you have their name, that's even better. So if your software helps you find the business owner name, use that. And where can I find them? Sometimes they're not there. Sometimes they work in a different office. So where can I find them? I like better than when are they here, because it conveys more urgency. And potentially they might say, well, if they're at the office, on whatever street. Okay, where is that? Can I get the address? I need to get this to them. I don't offer any additional information if they're not there. I don't leave the social presence portfolios, but I have it in my envelope. If the business owner is there, here's what you can say. It's like, hi, I'm Ruben, and I have an audit of your social presence for you, and I have a few minutes now to go over it with you. Is there somewhere we can sit down to look at it? So again, all of these things are very purposeful. Audit makes them kind of pay attention a little bit more. We're not, we're telling the truth. We have an audit of their social presence, and if they have a few minutes now to go over it, you have a few minutes now to go over it with them, and is there somewhere we can sit down and look at it? So we just want a few minutes to go over it with them. And if the business owner doesn't have time, then you can just say, well, when's a better time? And if they ask, can you leave it with me? You say, I want to leave it, but I just need to go over a few things with you to make sure you understand them. Is there a better time? So again, they don't really know exactly what's in you told them it's an audit of their social presence, but they don't really know what this is about, and so you're just trying to set up the time with them. All right. So once you're able to sit down with them, it's time for the 6th C, which is the close. But this is not a hard sell. You let the system sell it for you. So you just go through the social presence portfolio with the decision maker, again, just pointing out, hey, here's the good things, here's the bad things about Facebook. Here's the good things, here's the bad things about Google. Here's the good things, here are the bad things about Twitter, about your website, about all these other things. And you can add or take away any pages that you want or don't want in here, and make any comments that you want. And it really, you don't have to go all out. Like, you don't have to add, you don't have to make a book out of this. This is presentable enough, and it's like visually captivating enough that you can really engage the business owner with the document as you're going through it. But you only need a few pages to really do that and point out a few things. You don't need to make it more complicated than it is. And so again, you go through the social presence portfolio. You don't review the last 2 pages. So that's the checklist that we had, and then the final call to action page. At the end of going through and analyzing different pages, you just say, so we help businesses with their social media. Just this very simple phrase. You're basically saying, look, here's all the problems and issues, some things you're doing good, some things that are bad. We help solve this problem. We help businesses with their social media. And then you hand the social presence portfolio to them with the last page. So if you have it stapled together, you open it up to the last page, or whatever it is, the last page on top. And that's the call to action page. And then you don't say anything. If they ask a question, then you answer that one question, and then you don't say anything, and you wait. Even if it's awkward, you wait and let them talk, and look at it, read it, go through it again. If they want to go back to the first page, if they ask a question, answer the question. And if they say, well, why are you here? Well, we help businesses with their social media. Whatever question they ask, answer it. Generally it is about the social presence portfolio, but answer it very simply, and then just don't say anything. And then generally, if they're interested, they're going to say, well, can you guys help me with this? You let them close the deal for you. Let them speak first. So don't say anything. Just let them read it. Let them go through it. It may be awkward. It is really awkward. But let them sell themselves. Let them go through it. If they have doubts, but it's not a question, don't answer it. So if they say something along the lines of, well, I don't really know if I'm looking to hire someone to do my social media for me. That's not a question, so don't answer it. Let them, sometimes people are just thinking out loud. So, well, I'm not really sure if these things are really important. It's not a question, don't answer it. Wait until they say something, answer any questions they have, but wait until they say, well, if you guys do this for me, what is the cost? You've told them this is what you do, you help businesses with them, let them close themselves. So yeah, let the social presence portfolio sell themselves. They will read this. You've given it to them with this page on the right open. Just let it sell itself. Let them, and you're going to leave it with them. Now that you sat down, you're going to leave it with them. So you may not even close them right there. They might say, well, let me look at this, let me go over it, and let me think about it. They've got your information. People actually do call back from this document. They'll go through it, and they'll look at it, and they'll call back. Not everybody, but there will be people that'll call back. But I never leave it with people I won't until after I've gone through it with them, which usually takes about 7 minutes. So it's not long, but it takes about 7 minutes. So if they say, well, how long is this going to take? It's 7 minutes. And go through it yourself. If you add stuff or go through it, because you're not reading the last page, it should be pretty fast. You're actually not reading the first page too. I forgot to put that in here. You don't want to read the first page. You want to start right with the analyzing of their pages. So they can read that later if they want to, and then when they go through this document. And a lot of businesses are really grateful. They're like, wow, thanks so much for putting this together with me. I'm gonna get my people on it. But often when they say that, we'll follow up if they're not a sale and they say, well, I'm going to put my people on this and give them this document, make sure they do it. We'll follow up with them and see if that actually happened. And if it didn't, you're even more likely to close that sale. It looks like that those things never happened, like the people didn't do it. I'm just worried because I feel like you're missing out on potential business, and we can make sure this gets done within the next week or two. So you want to let the document sell itself. You don't want to try to hard sell this. You want the business owner to say, yeah, this is, I got to do this, or this isn't happening, and I'm going to take that control over. All right, so if they ask the question, well, what exactly do? You want to point out that, first of all, you're social media experts, and that differentiates you from their employees and their staff and whoever they might think they could get to do this. First of all, we're social media experts, and among other things, we set up and optimize your accounts. We do research on your business. We write posts based on that research. We get graphics and design the post, and we post that content regularly, and depending on which package they get. And then there's the contract. Social media is one of the few things that I actually have people sign a contract for, because often it'll take a few months to really get traction with social media, so I do give them contracts. And I've spent several $1,000s to have my contract written. It's written in a very specific way, in that it's not so much a monthly contract, it's a year contract, and they are paying in installments. So what that does is if you ever, and I've never taken it to court, but if you ever did have to go to court, if somebody wanted to cancel a monthly contract that was written as a monthly contract, chances are the judge is going to say, well, they don't want the service, you can stop doing the service, so we're just going to cancel it going here forward. Most judges aren't going to take your side if you have a contract for a year and they just say, hey, you still need to pay, if they don't want the services. However, because of the way our contract is written, they're paying for the full year of work, but they're paying in installments, because you can explain that there's a lot of upfront work done, and so that's why it's a payment plan rather than a monthly plan. So it's a really good contract. It was written in New York, so New York's pretty strict, so it should. I'm not a lawyer, so you may need to run it by your lawyer first. You will need to run it by your lawyer first. But because it was written for New York law, I would imagine your lawyer will probably be fine with it. But again, contact your own attorney. I'm not an attorney. I cannot give any legal advice, and the contract we have is not legal advice either. But we will make that available for you guys to use, and check it out with your own attorney. And again, that cost me several $1,000s to make, and you guys are going to get it as part of your membership. So it's a pretty good contract. You can modify that contract for other services. There's other reasons, and we'll get into those when we talk about other services, that I generally don't put people into contracts for those services. But the main reason is here is that social media takes some time to build, and there is a lot of upfront work that's done, and so it's good to keep people in that contract. And our contract also automatically renews every year. So if they don't cancel it, then they have another year in that contract. So it's a pretty strong contract. All right. So quick review. Here are the steps. The 6 C's. You're going to make a local business list using some lead software, preferably lead software. If you want to just come up with a list of businesses on your own, you can, but it just takes a lot longer. It's a lot more time, and we don't want you guys to overdo your time. I've polled most marketing agencies out there. Most of them have some sort of lead software already. So that's the first step. Filter the list by businesses that aren't socially active. You may want to consider, if there are businesses that you know, you like, you have a connection to including them, because they may possibly be open to turning that over to you, even if they're active on it. They may not want to do it. Choose 30 of those businesses, create 30 of those social presence portfolios, walk in with the social presence portfolio in hand, and then just go over it with the decision maker. It's really pretty simple to go through that with the business owner. But I want to go over how you can automate this, even more. You can hire, and the summer is a great time to find people, especially right now. School is getting out. You may not be listening to this when school is getting out, but you can still find high school interns or jobs, people who do this on the weekends or whatever. Hire them or find interns. Interns are much easier to find in the summer between classes, where you can potentially not pay them anything. If it's a job, you can still find people throughout the year. But high school interns or jobs is a way for you to automate this. And generally what we'll pay people, this is on the low end. We've done more than this, and it really depends on the people, but we'll give them a minimum of $10 for an appointment. So if they set up an appointment for us, we'll pay them $10, and $50 if they, or more if they make the sale. That's a minimum. We will actually often not make any money the first month, because we like to pay our salespeople more. So we might pay them $100 for the sale, or $20 for the appointment. But this is I'm putting this out there as a minimum. I mean, you could try doing less, and maybe that'll work. We haven't found less getting the right kind of people. But if you can pay people $10 for an appointment, you can still find good people that are willing to do that, and at least $50 for a sale. And it depends on the sale too. If they sell a larger package, then obviously they should get paid more. You can get people to do that. I've actually written, here is a Craigslist ad that you can post to get people on there, and you can add to this or change it or whatever. Summer job, and again, if it's not the summer, you have to modify that, but summer job, helping businesses get on social media. That's the title of the Craigslist ad. So don't get locked up in a stuffy office job this summer. Earn great money by helping businesses get on social media. Great earning potential, up to $800 a week. Dress however you want, tattoos, piercing, dyed hair, and unique styles welcome. Must have a valid driver's license and access to a car. Call us at 555-5555. Okay. So I found that people who sometimes have a harder time finding a job because of their appearance are really attracted to this kind of offer. And when it comes to social media, businesses are pretty lenient in how someone looks. So you can have someone who's all tattooed, who has piercings, who has dyed hair, and for whatever reason, that becomes acceptable when you tell people that you do social media. It may not work for SEO. It may not work as well for other services that you might offer. Maybe it does, but it definitely works when it comes to social media. So when we sit down with a client, we're generally seeing about 1 out of every 4 or 1 out of every 5 sign up. So it's not, and often it's not that a lot. There's a percentage of those people, they want to sign up and they just don't feel like they're quite ready, or they don't feel like they have the money, which I often find is an excuse. If they wanted to find the money, they can find it. But sometimes these sit downs aren't just about selling social media. Sometimes these sit downs are a way just to get to know the business owner, and we present the social presence portfolio, and they don't buy. And then we follow up with them and say, hey, I know you weren't interested in social media, but we have this other thing where we do Facebook ads, and where we actually help drive business to you on a regular basis. Would that be something you're interested in? At that point, you've given them something of value. You've done something for them. You've given it to them. Maybe they've even turned that over to their staff and they're doing it, but you've now got your foot in the door with that business, and you've given them something of value, and that opens the door to being able to sell other services and walking in and knowing who that business owner is. Hey, hey Jeff, it's great to see you again. We have something else where we do paid advertising through AdWords, if that's something you're interested in, and here's how it benefits you. You develop that rapport, but often, to us, 1 out of every 5 or 1 out of every 4 is a pretty good conversion. When you sit down with them, you give them something of value, and you can offer to help them with their social presence. And the people who need it most aren't always the people who buy, but so that's something to keep in mind. So don't necessarily give up on a business just because you see them doing stuff. They may still want to get it off their plates and hire someone else to do it for them. All right. All right, so I'm going to get to questions now. Thanks everyone for waiting on those. So do we have a questionnaire that we send to clients that ask them a series of questions so relevant and valuable posts can be created throughout the month? Yes, so our intake form, we'll generally ask them for information. We'll take information off of their website. They can add information that, I guess our intake form is like a questionnaire. We'll ask for websites that we can get content from. So if there's a website that they like, and they say, hey, go and get content from this website and repost it or rework it and write it for us and all those kinds of things, we will do that. So that's a good question. Yeah, so the content we create for all of our clients is unique. So that's a huge value to them. They're not getting the same old stuff or just reposted stuff. Okay, let me see here. Some other questions. Okay. And I got a question about one of the slides, and I'm not sure which one it is. Yes, David, you missed everything. Oh yeah, here's the one about conversions. So 30 social presence portfolios. Okay, so out of the 30 social presence portfolios, generally we will sit down with, we will end up getting about 2 or 3 clients from that. So it's between 5 and 10% of people that we're getting from the social presence portfolios. Oh, and I forgot to mention that if you hire someone to do this, you can have them do the social presence portfolios for you. So you don't actually have to do them. You give them the template, you tell them to go in, you give them the contract, and you let them create those social presence portfolios. It'd probably be nice if they can come in, or if you could print them up for them or something along those lines, if you have an office or something along those lines. If not, you can ask them to do it themselves, or reimburse them for paper or ink or something like that. But yeah, probably about a 5% conversion rate off of how many we actually do. But then when we actually sit down with people, it's more of like four or five of those sit down and actually become customers. Yeah, so I will be posting in the members area the Craigslist ad and some of the other information, so you guys have it. So step 6. Let me go to step 6. I had multiples for step 6. Okay, there it is. So I'll just go through it as I answer a few other questions. Okay, can I suggest a range of likely pricing that is most often accepted by specific industries? So yes. So here's a recommendation I'm gonna give you guys when it comes to going after industries. If you don't already have a specific niche that you're going after big companies, like, I shouldn't say big, like medium-sized companies. Like, I'm not talking about Walmart, that's a big company. But these medium-sized companies that do kind of obscure things have tended to be the people that close more often. So, a large-scale welding shop where they do, commercial and or maybe mostly commercial kind of things. So if they're doing kind of commercial things, those are the kind of companies you can charge more, and it becomes another bill that they just pay month after month after month, and they just kind of do it, and they never complain, they never want to, they don't bug you as much, but those kinds of companies we found, as far as like interaction goes, they're some of the easiest clients to have. So the business to business, they might do some consumer stuff, but they do like a large scale welding shop, someone who does agricultural products or something like that, where they're not really being they have sort of large scale funds, but they're just not doing a lot with social media. So those have been really, really great non-hassle clients for us. But if you have a niche, stick with your niche. Generally, the smaller guys, plumbers, are probably on the lower end. Yeah, I mean, they would have to be a larger size plumbing to pay generally to close easily at $500, and you can do it at $500. It's just one guy. You can charge $500, but your closing rate is going to be lower, and that's not necessarily bad. That's not necessarily a bad thing. You could do it for less. Our packages start at about $100 on the low end, so you can certainly charge less. Dentist, yes, I would say minimum $500 for a dentist. but I think you can easily charge upwards of $800 for a dentist. So yeah, if it's a big dentist and multiple locations, you can charge more if they've got multiple locations. So as far as like interactions go, on our lower end packages, we don't do a lot of interaction for that business. So we would still ask, and if that's something you guys, you have a client that's interested in that, reach out to us and we'll talk about it. Just we're mostly, posting and sending out engagement, but we're not equipped enough to answer people's questions on social media. If they have a question, they would have to go to the business owner to get the best stuff for the best information. Okay. Okay. So on the on the higher monthly. So if you want to get paid thousands of dollars, so per client. Believe it or not, people in the entertainment area are willing to pay thousands of dollars to get help with their social media. People in the entertainment area, whether that be music or other things. Yeah, that can be a huge niche. Also, people who have mostly online businesses. That almost everything is done online, they're more willing to pay more. So if you have an entertainment industry, also includes trainers, people who have any type of social presence that's really important to them. So if they're an online trainer, guru, personality, or whatever, that's actually where you get the bigger bucks for social media, because the internet's so important to them. It's so important to their persona and who they are and their image and everything. You can also, and in general, if you think of any business where online persona is super important, things like lawyers who might have a really important, like just their image and the way they're presented is really super important. And they have sort of like a spokesperson for their business and their company, it starts to become really important that their social media is handled really well. So those are the people you're going to find. There's also the other companies who do like massive online sales and stuff, who aren't doing anything with their social media. Those are also great people to approach if you want those higher ticket dollars. The plumbers, they're generally not going to see the value out of paying that much for social media because it's not about their personality. They would have to be like Mr. Joe Plumber for that to be important to them. We have used UpViral before. We haven't had a ton of I don't know. There's some issues we have with UpViral, but it's not. But yes, we do contests as well, and we have used UpViral, and sometimes we do use it, but we do have some issues with that particular software. There's a lot of great softwares to do contests and stuff out there, so lots of options. Okay. Any other questions before we close? We're about at the hour. If I missed any questions, let me know. You may have to retype them. Awesome. Thanks, Jamil. An awesome webinar. I appreciate it. All right. We will post this online. Last week I got it up by the next day, so hopefully it'll be up by the next day, and you'll be able to access all this. Again, if you are doing websites, don't let this derail you. Get out there. Websites is probably one of your best foot in the doors out there. But if you have a meeting and you're going to go sit down with someone, my first social media client was someone I had a meeting with to sell a website. And so sat down with him, went over the social presence portfolio, and he said, sign me up. So this is supplemental stuff that can help you as you're going along. If you have other client meetings, if you have other things going on, you can add this up as a supplement. Once you're ready to move into social media, you can use this as a straight tactic. If you are looking to hire someone, this is a great thing to have someone that you hire go out and do, and then you pay them per appointment or per sale. This is a great thing to do that you don't actually personally have to do. And again, I love hiring people who are a little weird looking. For whatever reason, people that are weird looking can sell social media better than the person in the suit. I don't know why that is, but that's my sort of personal study that I've done. It doesn't really expand beyond my business, but hiring people that look a little weird, for whatever reason, you can sell social media. They can sell social media. So anyway, we'll get the replay up. Okay, yeah, we'll get it up as soon as we can. And you guys can use the social presence portfolio is already up in the in the members area. You can download that. It's super easy to modify and edit if you have someone now to go and talk to. So that's already up there. I put that up I think last week, so it's available to you guys to go in and modify and use whenever you want. I'll get the Craigslist stuff up as soon as possible and the recording up. Thanks guys. I will talk to you all later.